G'day guys, Fitcho here, and MotoGP 18 is finally here. That is right guys, the brand new MotoGP game from Milestone Games is out now. It's in my hands and I'm ready to get stuck into this. I'm so excited for this game, of course, the first game on the brand new Unreal Engine for Milestone Games with the MotoGP series. So a number of improvements coming, including graphics and physics, and I cannot wait to get stuck into this game. And I'm going to stop waffling now and get straight into our rider career mode. Career introduction. Young riders from all over the world know that the best way to access the Motorcycle Grand Prix is by competing in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup. Since its beginning, it has brought plenty of riders to success, many of whom have gone on to become world champions. Taking place on all the best tracks in Europe, riders competing in the Cup have the chance to race on a real Grand Prix bike, the KTM RC250R, specifically designed for the rookies, closely related to the Moto3 category World Champion bike. The teams in the MotoGP pit pay close attention to the rookie races, scouting tomorrow's next best talent. So here we are on the rider customization page. I've already been through and filled out all my details. Everything here is the same as it has been on the past games, except with the face now, it's no longer just a picture that you're going to have. It's actually a 3D modeled face, of course. I've gone and modeled all the MotoGP riders' faces and added in some new animations and stuff, and now we get to pick a face for our rider career mode, so we get to see those animations with ourselves as well. There's about 10 different faces. I think there's 6 white people, 3 black people, and 1 Asian. They're all males, though, no female characters, unfortunately, in MotoGP 18. So for this career mode, I'm going to be doing 50% races with a qualifying session. The AI difficulty is going to be starting at 100%, but hopefully when I get a bit more comfortable on the game, that will start to increase a little bit. And I do like how they've implemented a slider system, because I remember back in the day on past games, you know, sometimes when you find yourself in between 2 difficulties, you're either racing against AI that are too easy or too hard, and it just takes some of the fun out of the game. But now with the slider, you can find the AI that are just perfect for you, and you can have a whole heap of fun. Bike damage is also unrealistic. That is something they've said they've improved this game, so I look forward to playing around with that. Tire wear on, and the manual starts are also on. Another new feature, we now have a clutch to hold in at the start, so if you get a bit happy at the start, you can accidentally release the clutch and jump the start, and you will get penalized, so that is nice to see. Reputation. Your reputation is a good representation of how popular your rider is amongst fans. Earn a reputation to get offers from more prestigious teams and climb the categories. Transfer windows. The transfer window takes place at certain times of the season. You will receive offers from teams from all categories during this time according to your reputation. You will have to decide whether to stay at your current team and lead it to success, or to move on to a new challenge. Be careful, if you don't match your team's expectations, you might be forced to change direction. So here we are, our rider is created, and we are riding in the Red Bull Rookies Cup, and this is the new sort of career hub menu, I guess is, and we have an email from our personal manager. Hi Lachlan, racing against the champs is the best way of increasing your rider skill. With every race you finish, you will earn experience which will improve your abilities in throttle management, brake management, riding position, leaning angle. Be careful, every track has different riding characteristics which can help you improve a certain skill more than another. Try to understand the secrets of every track and take advantage of its characteristics to improve as much as possible. So this is a nice new addition. I haven't heard much about this, but it sounds like your rider actually has a few attributes to it, and the more you do things right and well at different tracks and whatnot, and there will probably be some sort of system implemented in the races, objectives and whatnot, you'll actually increase your attributes in certain areas. So this is sort of a bit like a FIFA game or a sports game like that, NHL or NBA, where you want to try to increase your throttle management, and the more you increase it, the better you get at. Like with soccer or FIFA, the more you shoot, the better, more accurate you will get. And then, of course, just a lowdown with the championship points, which we should already know. So, just looking at the calendar very quickly, it looks like we have an expanded Red Bull Rookies Cup season from what we had on MotoGP 17. We have 7 races this year, and I'm not too sure how that lines up with the real-life Red Bull Rookies Cup. I'll be honest, I haven't paid much attention to it, but I believe this is somewhat similar to what it is in real life. I think on the previous game we only did 3 races, so they're increasing the involvement of the Red Bull's Rookie Cup in the game, which is nice to see, and it looks like we're heading to Jerez for the first race of the season. So on the loading screen, we actually have social feeds, sort of Twitter and whatnot, all just made up things equivalent of that. Apparently, I am at Fit72, going with my 3-letter abbreviation and the number, which I guess is a logical way to do it. And let's see, have I been mentioned on this feed anywhere? It doesn't look like I have, but this is going to be something to keep our eye on. See if we're making waves in the social media world as our career progresses. And they also have a follow account on there, I've just noticed, which is currently sitting at 100. So it looks like we have a bit of a social media account going on, and we need to try to build up our followers, which that might actually be tied into our reputation, I think. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait to see how that all plays out.
Welcome all to Spain. We are joining you live from the Jerez circuit. Only a few minutes to go before we see the first bikes take to the track to start the customary qualifying session. Despite the clouds building up overhead, conditions on the track are still good and the session should stay dry.
So here we are in Jerez, walking into the back of the garage, about to take a seat next to our number 1 mechanic. This is the new animation they've implemented into the game. We've got our rider head that I did select at the start when I was making my rider, and you see the same things, I believe, if you do any MotoGP session, because they have scanned all those rider faces. But it is time for qualifying our first session in the Red Bull Rookies Cup. Let's get into it. Geez, still 2 seconds off the pace. We're about 10 minutes into this session, and there is definitely a bit of a learning curve to this brand new game. I started off about 6 seconds off the pace. I'm slowly finding my feet, but it's going to take a little bit more time before I can get back to the pace I was at on MotoGP 17. It does feel quite nice, this game. It is taking a bit of getting used to. The changes of direction happen a lot quicker, and that means some of your turn-in points I find are a bit later than before, and I found myself just turning in a bit too early and cutting the corners. It's taken a bit of time to get used to, but with a few more laps in qualifying, I think I'll get there, and hopefully we can get into a respectable position to start this Grand Prix. This has been a decent lap, 3 personal best sectors, and it's a 1:49.7, only 1.1 seconds off the pace now, and I'm up to 21st place, so I'm no longer all the way down in last, and these tyres are going to be starting to get a little bit secondhand because I've been out on track since the start of the session at the 40-minute mark, and we're now down to 21 and a bit minutes to go. So I've been out here for about 19 minutes, just going round and round and round. I'm starting to get a feel for this game, and I think it might be time to jump into the race, or I might actually try and go back into the pits, get some fresh tyres, and give this another crack, see if I can find a little bit more time and get a little bit higher up the grid than 21st. So, Adrian Carrasco has taken pole position with Khan Onku, I think that's how you say it, on second place, with Carlos Tate rounding out the front row of the grid. And we need to scroll off the front page to find ourselves, and we did manage to break into the top 10. I got down to a 1:49.37 tenths of a second off Carrasco, and I think that's pretty decent. I started the session almost 6 seconds off the pace, but after about 20 minutes of just consistently lapping, I got that lap time down. I started to find a rhythm on this game, got a feel for the game, and got a respectable lap time, and I think the top 10 is a good place to be starting for our first ever Grand Prix.
Hello and welcome to the Jerez de la Frontera circuit. Just a few more minutes to wait before the Spanish Grand Prix finally begins. The weather forecasts are very reassuring. We will have sunny weather for the entire duration of the race.
So it is race day here in Jerez. We're starting with inside the top 10 for our first ever Red Bull Rookies Cup race. Let's get into this.
It was a long weekend for the riders, but finally the showdown is here. We are speaking to you from the starting grid, with just a few minutes to go before the race begins. Just a few moments to go until the start of the Spanish Grand Prix. These riders know it will be vitally important to take the first curve perfectly.
Here we go. It is time for our Red Bull Rookies Cup debut. Get the clutch in, the bike into gear, revs up, lights are on, and it's lights out, and away we go for the Spanish Grand Prix. And it doesn't feel like it's been the best start in the world, but comparing myself to the rest of the riders, it's been a decent launch as we head up towards turn number 1, but we are caught on the outside. Barry Bolters just sends it up our inside, and we've been dropped back to 12th place after turn number 1 is now down into turn number 2. We can't really do much as Barry Bolters gets past Garcia as we flick back to the left through turn number 3. Can we try to get a nice run through turn 4 and try to get something happening up into Cedo Pond's corner? Can we look up the inside of anyone as now we jump onto the brakes for this long, fast and crucial right-hander as it leads onto the back straight down to the dry sack corner. And it hasn't been the best run, in fact. We've just lost touch ever so slightly with that top 11 as we run down towards the dry sack corner for the first time in today's Grand Prix. Hard on the brakes all the way back to first gear, and we've used the curb a little too much there and actually got on the inside of the grass. I'm just struggling a little bit still trying to find my feeling on this game. It takes a little bit of time, especially with racing games, just to get a feel for the game and get yourself back into a nice groove, get your speed back where it was on the previous title. We're just losing touch a little bit with that front four, but I'm going to shut up, try to let myself concentrate a little bit, and hopefully we can reel them in again. We've had a nice run through that final sector, and we're getting back to the back of Garcia's bike as we end lap number 1. It hasn't been the best opening lap in the world. We have lost 2 places, but it's not all too bad. Of course, these are essentially Moto3 bikes, and they race very, very similarly. So it gets a bit crazy, and we're still in touch with this lead pack, so things are going alright so far in today's Grand Prix. I'd say that's a very strange line I took through turn number 2. Like I said, just still finding my way on this game as we've flicked it a bit too far to the left, just clipping the grass. Still, as you can see, I'm not quite comfortable on this game like I was on MotoGP 17 just yet. It definitely takes a little bit more skill, I reckon, this game. New handling models, a little bit more tricky, and it's just taking me time to adapt to it. Oh, we've got a bike sending it up our inside, but we cut it back really nicely. I did not get to see the name of the rider, and all the bikes are the same, so I can't really tell who it is, and to be honest, I don't know the Rookies Cup lineup all that well, as I've never actually watched one of their races. They aren't televised here, as that looks like Kunai. I think I saw the name. Didn't really get a good look at it, but he is right on our rear tire, and he is trying to make something work to get past us, as we are starting to lose touch with that top 11 pack at this stage of the race. End of lap number 3, and we are starting to claw back up to that front pack. Only 7 tenths separating myself and Barry Boltus there in 11th place, and we have gapped that pack behind us just a little bit, so we're getting back into a rhythm, getting our pace back where it should be, as we got on the curb a little bit too much there through turn number 2, and we're starting to reel back into that lead pack, and hopefully we can catch them and start to make some moves and get ourselves higher up in the points paying positions. End of lap number 5. We've got 3 laps left ahead of us, and we are really starting to catch up to the back of Barry Boltus. Only 4 tenths of a second separating me and Bazza. We are right on the back of Barry Boltus now. Can we go up the inside down into Jorge Lorenzo corner? Yes, we can. And we're going to take 11th place away from Bazza. And now Garcia is up next as we're about to start the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. We've finally got ourselves into this battle pack right at the front of the field, and now we can start making some moves, start getting up the field, and hopefully score a nice load of points in our debut race. A nice run through turn number 1. Can we look up the inside down into 2 on Garcia? Yes, we can. Just send it down there, and into the top 10 we go. Kawakami is up next. I think that's how you pronounce it, as we head through turn number 4. Not the best run in the world through there as we head up towards Cito Pond's corner. This is a corner I found I'm quite slow at compared to the rest of the AI. You got to get on the power so early, and I just don't realize how early you can get on the power on these Red Bull Rookie Cup bikes through that corner. It always costs me a little bit of time. It's now down to the dry sack corner. We're not close enough to make an attempt for 9th place, and I don't think the guys behind us are close enough to try and take away our 10th. Yes, they are. Garcia just sends it up our inside through the dry sack corner, but we are still there, up his inside into turn 7, and we hold on to 10th place. Here we go, we're about to start the final lap of this Spanish Grand Prix. We are sitting in 10th place, right on the edge of the top 10. Can we get up the inside of Kawakami down at turn number 1? No, we can't, but a nice exit off there, and we might be able to sneak up the inside down into turn number 2. Yes, we can, and we take 9th place. Up next is Pataka. I think that's how you pronounce it, as we are on the final lap of this race. Through turn number 4 we go, turning in a little bit too early, taking a little bit too much curb in the bike, getting a little bit unsettled there. Is now up into Cito Pond's corner on the power, really bloody early through here. It always catches me out just how early you can get on the power, and the AI always get a nice run on us down towards the dry sack corner. We haven't had the best run, and we are definitely going to be under threat here as we jump onto the brakes for the dry sack corner. Is he going to go up our inside, try to hold it tight to the apex, but Kawakami makes that move stick up our insides. Now we head to his outside through turn number 7. Can we make this move work? Right around the outside. No, we cannot. We're going to send it back up his inside into this corner. No, we're not. We're not quite close enough We might just have lost 9th place here in this Spanish Grand Prix. Only a handful of corners to go. It's gone in a little bit too deep there. And now this corner, I really do struggle with this corner. We've gotten too wide on the entrance. And our exit isn't going to be the best. The first one of these fast right-handers isn't my best corner. You can see all the lines from how many times I've just gotten on the inside of the curb. And I've missed my turn-in point to the Ferrari corner. That's usually my best corner on the track. I usually get so much time through there compared to the AI because I can keep it wide open. Barry Boltus is trying to send it up our inside. We switch back there on through the Jorge Lorenzo corner, and we're going to come up to the line to finish our debut inside the top 10, the exact same position that we started. And all things considered, I think that's a pretty decent debut race for us. So there we go, our MotoGP ID reward. So we've got a MotoGP ID Prestige, position 10th, so we get 10,125 points for that, and bonus, which is 49%, because I don't use pretty much any assists other than I think it's auto tuck-in, and I think it's off-track help is still on, so we get a total of 15,086, and I think this is the same as Reputation. I remember seeing this screen after races in the previous game and it would say Reputation. Now it's saying MotoGP ID Reward, but we were talking about Reputation earlier, so I'm not 100% sure, but nonetheless, we are up to level 3 already after only one race.
While we wait for the cameras to take us to the Parc Ferme to meet the stars of the race, let's take a quick look at the final race ranking.
So here are the final race results. Adrian Carrasco has turned that pole position into a race victory. Khan Onku, I think that's how you say it, has finished in second with Carlos Tate in third place. So it looks like the top 3 is completely unchanged, and the leaderboard only covers the top 9. So unfortunately we do have to scroll down to find ourselves only by one position, sitting there in 10th place. I thought we got past Kawakami there, but he made a nice move at the dry sack corner and took that 9th place away. If I just got my turn-in point right for the Ferrari corner, the second last corner, I've been super fast through there, and I've got some great runs down to the Jorge Lorenzo corner, and I thought I was going to get him back, but I just missed the turn-in point. And when you miss a turn-in point on a motorbike, it really does cost you, especially at a fast corner like that. But still, 10th place is a good debut. Of course, the Riders' Championship after only one race is exactly the same as the race result, so we are sitting in 10th place. So Reputation is different to what we had it in the last game, so that's now the Reputation we knew in the previous game seems to be now the ID thing, whatever it was, I forgot what it was called now, but now we've got Reputation, which is something different. So my riding position is level 42, and then it says 63 out of 100, so I assume once I get to 100 it goes up to the next level, although that sort of progress bar doesn't look like it's anywhere near 63% out of 100, so I'm not exactly sure what that means. It's saying level 40, maybe it's because I'm level 42 out of, no, I'm not actually sure. I'm not sure what all this means, because the progress bar doesn't line up with the levels, assuming there's 100 levels, and it doesn't line up with the 63 out of 100, so I'm not too sure how all this works at the moment, but I'm definitely going to try to work that out in the near future.
Judging from the riders' and mechanics' disappointment, they held very different expectations for this weekend. The best thing to do is move on from this poor result and concentrate on the next few races.
They didn't look that disappointed to me. They were clapping, shaking my hands, congratulating me on a great debut, but okay, I guess 10th place isn't that great for my first ever race, considering I qualified 10th. I thought it was a decent result, but clearly the commentator disagrees with me there. So our follower count has almost doubled after that race, from 100 up to 235, and I don't think we're going to be mentioned anywhere on social media, unfortunately. So that brings us to the end of this first episode of my MotoGP 18 rider career mode. I hope you guys have enjoyed this race. If you did, make sure you do leave a big like on the video. Make sure you do subscribe for much more MotoGP 18 content. I cannot wait to delve further into this career mode, get myself used to this game, and have some awesome battles with the other riders. Even in my first race, once I got a hang of things, towards the end we were having some nice racing, battling for those last positions with inside the top 10. We came home in 10th place, not quite getting that 9th position, with the AI making a nice move at the dry sack corner. So the AI, I think, have been tweaked and improved a bit on this game, and it was nice to see they were making a nice aggressive move. They blocked me a bit into the next corner, and I just couldn't get myself back past. So a nice move there from the AI, and that's all promising for what should be a really enjoyable series. So make sure you do subscribe for this. I'm hoping to get another episode of this out later today, so make sure you do keep your eyes peeled for that. But that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.